And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
All the way from the middle of the Pacific Ocean, we are still at it, doing the job, doing the work. Josh, what the hell is going on? Because I can't believe I'm in Hawaii talking on a podcast.
Yeah, but we're stuck in the hotel room because everything here it's so strange how the internet doesn't work all that well here.
Everything costs.
Everything costs a ton of money, which is cool. We're okay with that. But
right.
Everything right now, because it's spring break. Spring break last week, spring break this week. I feel like kids get so many breaks these years.
Why can't anyone get a break on the same damn week?
Isn't that crazy? I guess because it would just flood the market for one whole week.
Oh,
I know, right? I feel bad for those single parents that they have to stay at home, or they've got it if they have a young child and they have a middle school child and they have a high school or one in college, you're screwed, man. Like you're missing 3 weeks of school, 3 weeks of work, I should say. Anyways, all right. Hey,
so what they should do is just watch all the fights, and that way they can enjoy life.
Yeah, because we are going to try to make you guys some money by breaking down some fights, and hopefully you guys went to mybookie.ag like we talk about all the time. Use our promo code weighing in. But look, let's get into this. Podcast Dave's going to have to talk to us quite a bit today. We normally like to carry the weight ourselves, but today we're going to let Podcast Dave actually do some work. So go ahead, Podcast Dave. Walk us through the fight cards because we normally have them in front of us. Now we've got to hear your voice. So try to speak English.
What are we doing first there, Dave? You're picking.
Doing first.
All right, we're doing PFL first, which is on Wednesday night.
Then we got Clay Collard versus Jeremy Stephens in the main event.
Yep.
I like that. That's a good fight.
It's a great fight. I think it's a wonderful fight. I think it's a great fight for his first fight in PFL. Again, for Jeremy Stephens, I think that Clay Collard has proven that he likes those fights when the newcomers are coming in.
Yeah.
And we've just talked about this last week. It's always hard to get into a new promotion, no matter how many fights you've had, to go into a new promotion, because it just doesn't quite feel like
everything's a little different.
Sure, maybe you know the people. Sure, maybe you train with a lot of people that work there, they are fighting there, but it's not the same. It's not the same. And for Jeremy, I think that he still has a lot left in the tank. It's just a matter of, can he put aside all the things that happened in the past, leaving the UFC? A lot of fighters have a hard time after leaving the UFC because they've spent so much time there, it doesn't feel like home anywhere else. So when they go somewhere like the PFL, it's like, man, that first fight, look at Anthony Pettis, same thing happened to him when he went there. He fought Clay Collard.
And I really think that Jeremy's going to have a different mindset based upon watching some of those guys like Anthony, like Fabricio go. And, even Rory, Rory won, but, Anthony and Fabricio, they didn't win in their first fights. And I think that's telling guys, hey, if I sign here, I got to take it serious because these guys are going to try to rip my head off. These guys are going to be here to prove that they're better than me, and I can't let that happen. So at least Jeremy's never taken anyone light. He's always a great competitor. But you got to figure he had been in the UFC since UFC 71.
Yeah.
I did his first fight at UFC 71 against Dean Thomas, who is now commentating and doing some of the breakdowns there for the UFC. So, he was there forever. And I really think that he does have an advantage in this fight in the speed department.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy's much faster. I think that's going to be something that he can definitely rely on. But he's got to handle the pressure and the body attack that Clay Collard brings because the dude's going to be in his face. He doesn't back off.
I would give Jeremy the power advantage as well.
I would too. I would too.
So if you give him the speed and the power, he's just got to make sure that he doesn't wilt under the pressure. In terms of Clay Collard brings that pressure to just shut you down. And I agree with you 100% on the body attacks because we've seen Jeremy lose. We saw him lose the Aldo by the kick, but anyone could have went down with that kick. Sorry, especially with Aldo's kicks. But it lets fighters understand, like, hey, if I'm going to attack someone somewhere, going to the body is definitely a spot I'm going to try to attack him at.
Yeah.
He's tough, man. Jeremy's still one of my all-time favorite fighters to watch. He's always been one of my all-time favorite fighters to watch. I think that I think for every fighter that leaves the UFC and then goes somewhere else, especially if you've been there and established for a long time, they have a hard time adjusting to another promotion because in their mind, like a lot of the UFC fighters they think like, oh, I'm better than these guys. And not just better than them in terms of they really hold themselves up on this pedestal, like, oh, I've already fought all the best guys. Like, even if I lose here, whatever. It's my, I'm towards the end of my career anyways, or I've already done it all. These guys have never done what I've done. And fighters, and I'm being honest, John, that's kind of like, I think, the mindset for some of them.
Yeah, if it's the mindset, it's the wrong mindset because let's just be
I didn't
honest.
say it was right.
A lot of people do. They get to the UFC and they think that's where everything is at. But it's hard to believe at times because especially you'll never get that from guys that train like at Extreme Couture or ATT or Sanford, because there's a big mix of a lot of different promotions within all those. And they know, oh, dude, that dude's a stud. That dude, and you hear him talk about it. Oh, dude, that dude would beat just about anyone. And that's the truth. You cannot get into this where I sometimes see guys getting that attitude of, I fight in the UFC, this guy fights in the PFL, I'm just going to be better. If you are in a small place with, not a whole lot of top talent there and you're like the big fish, a lot of times I do see guys getting in that they can't be as good as me. They can, and they will be. And you got to accept, you have to prepare for every person that is the best person in the world that you've ever fought. And you got to put it out there like that. And that's what will prepare you for that contest. Because if you don't, you're going to be playing catch up. And it's hard once you've established in your mind that I'm going to walk through this guy and then it's not happening. It's hard to make it back up. It's hard to get yourself back in track. It can be done. I'm not saying it can't, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
And so it's better to go in there with that mindset of, hey, I'm going to say, you know what, this guy's going to be one of my toughest fights of all time, and I'm going to fricking go after him with everything I have. That's what you need to do.
Yeah, I think certain guys that have left the UFC have had success based on the fact that the way that they've always trained is the way their mentality is. I think Rory McDonald, because I think he had success in Bellator, simply because nothing really changes for him. It's the way he fights no matter what. He pushes himself every camp. He comes in with the same mindset of, I'm going to beat that fighter. It didn't matter. There was never Rory doesn't have that personality of oh, these guys can't be as good as me.
No.
He doesn't have that. Just by talking to him, he doesn't have that personality. Gegard, I think, was kind of the same way. His first fight in the Bellator, though, it went a little wonky because remember he was orbital.
That's right.
But it was a shot that just anybody could have got caught with that.
Sure.
But he didn't. I don't think he overlooked Shlemenko at all. I think just that first round he got hit with that, and his eyes swelled and became a different fight. So certain fighters I've seen come over. I think Paul Daly's also another one. Everywhere he goes,
Paul Daly's gone everywhere. It doesn't matter to him.
He just is he fights no matter who it is. He fights to knock your head off.
Exactly. He fights his ass off to put you into the frickin' canvas. So.
And I look at maybe Jeremy Stevens being the same type of
I do too. I
look at fighters like Paul Daly. I would say Jeremy Stevens, probably the same thing.
Jeremy Stevens has a fighter mentality. He's got that.
Yeah.
He's got that little bit of anger in him, a little bit of nastiness and stuff. And great. That's not saying great guy, but he's got he's got a nasty side to him when he steps into the cage, and that's what you need, and that's what he needs to bring out in the PFL. And I think he'll be successful.
Yeah. What are the fights on this card, Dave or John, that you like? Dave, can you read some off so we can?
Yep.
I like the Don Madge Monfils fight. Look at Monfils won the lightweight tournament.
Mm-hmm.
He won the $1 million prize or the compilation of it. And but Don Madge is a good fighter. Comes from South Africa. I've watched him fight multiple times. He fought in the UFC. I don't know what happened, but he was undefeated in the UFC.
Well, you said he was 2-0, right?
Yeah, that's not 2 fights and you're gone. Something happened. I don't know what it is, but the dude can fight. So Monfils got a real test in the first, first fight off of winning the tournament. Mm-hmm. He's got a real dude in front of him because this is not an easy fight. I thought Monfils had a great run last year. I thought he looked fantastic. He had the one fight, I think it was against Collard. It was really close.
Yeah.
And he got the edge in it. Okay. But, this fight with Madge, he better have his game on because Madge is good.
What other fight, John? Give us some names there, Dave.
John said he was looking forward to Emiliano.
Emiliano Sordi's in there, and Sordi's in there. So is I hate saying Shoeface, but it's just he's in there also. Carlos Antonio Jr. is in there.
Yeah,
but Sordi won the tournament two years ago. and he's way down in the list. I'm like, why isn't he even on he's not even on the main card.
Wow.
You know, and it's like the guy fights his ass off. He's a tough dude, man. He never stops. So anytime you can watch him fight, I think it's a good fight for you to watch.
All right. Sorry, guys. Long day of travel. We're here. We both of us just landed probably a couple hours ago. You're not
No,
an hour.
a couple
You've only
hours
been here
ago.
for an hour. I've been here for about 5-6 hours, but here in Hawaii, Bellator this weekend. So we'll wrap up on the PFL talk. We'll move on to what's next for us, Dave.
All right, we got night 1 of Bellator 278, and we got Velasquez versus Carmouche.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's a tough fight.
Okay.
Which Liz are we going to see?
Thank you very much. That's
Which
the question.
I want to see. Are we going to see the one that knocked out Watanabe? Are we going to see the one that submitted Deanna Bennett?
Are we?
Are we going to see
Or are we going to see the one that fought against Vanessa Porto
and did nothing?
Did nothing.
Yeah. And just,
Or, okay, and again, let's just go ahead. Are we going to see the Liz Carmouche that fought a championship fight against, I hate to say this, Shevchenko, because she actually has a win against Shevchenko. It was off of a cut. But in the championship fight, she lost every round.
Yeah.
But it's Shevchenko. I can't, take anything from it. She also had the championship fight where she went against Ronda Rousey. And I'm telling you right now, that face crank that she had.
Did you ref that fight?
I did.
Oh.
I'm telling you right now, I saw the panic. I saw it. It was there. She was that close. And Ronda settled herself down and kept fighting through it and got her off and got the armbar win. But she was very close to being the bantamweight champ of the UFC on that very first fight. Oh, yeah. Well, Ronda got the title from the UFC based upon her Strikeforce title. She was the Strikeforce champion.
Did they just give it to her?
They did. They handed it to her. Well, the same as they handed, Aldo from the WEC, they handed him. Dominic Cruz, they handed him. They handed those guys, if you recall.
How do they call that?
Yeah, they handled the one they didn't was the flyweight.
Oh.
They didn't hand the flyweight, but the bantamweight and the featherweight, Aldo just got the belt. He was the champion. Same with Dominic.
So Benson, same thing?
No, Benson lost, and Anthony did not get it because Anthony ended up fighting Clay Guida and losing.
Remember that. Wait, no, I remember him losing to Clay Guida.
Okay.
But then I thought Benson beat Pettis when he came into the UFC, and then who did Benson lose to?
No, Benson lost to Pettis both in the WEC and then lost his title to Pettis in the UFC.
Got it. So when did Benson win the title? He had the UFC title.
He won it from Frankie.
That's right, twice. I went out there to help him train for it. CTE, guys, CTE. It's not real.
It's not real.
All right. Let's get into the Bellator. Liz, I think she's got every chance to win this fight.
I was going to say, we said nothing about her fight.
Juliana Velasquez
she's a stud, man.
She's got power in her hands. She doesn't have a lot of output. She's tough to take down. She's a black belt in judo. She's on the national team, correct?
Yep.
For Brazil, she's good on the ground. She chooses not to go to the ground. She chooses to keep it on the feet. She's southpaw, throws straight lefts right down the pipe. She's a dog. She'll take a shot to give a shot. She just needs to be a little bit more active. And I want to say I've been
so does Liz.
Kind of critical of some of her performances because she can knock people out. But she's very conservative with her striking because she's so difficult to deal with. And she's long. I don't want to say she's tall, long, and lanky, but she is long for that weight class.
She is.
She reminds me. I'm trying to think of who she reminds me of. I can't really say off the top of my head. But Liz, shorter in stature, she's gonna have a hard time getting in.
But super strong.
I don't know if she's gonna have the ability to take her down though.
I don't think she is.
Yeah, and so it's going to be a tough fight for Liz. And that jab's going to be popping in her face. Those straight lefts going to be popping in her face. And Juliana Velasquez she's no slouch off of her back either, and she's not easy to take down. So it's going to be a tough fight. But I'm excited to see if it's the Liz that fought Watanabe. Because if that Liz comes in, Juliana's going to get her hands full.
Yep.
Because Watanabe's tall, long, and lanky, just like Juliana Velasquez is. So that fight makes a lot of sense right there.
She's super strong too. Yeah. In my opinion, Liz has to get after her immediately. Get on her in the fight and start just doing what she did against Whatnot, open up and start throwing bombs at her and make her have to react, make her have to defend, make her eat those shots. That's her way of winning this fight, in my opinion. The longer the fight draws out, the more I'm going towards Juliana Velasquez.
The only reason why I say that, John, that I think Liz going to have a really hard time on the feet with her is not just because of the length and the reach and all those things, but you looked at Denise Gilholtz, like a badass kickboxer on the feet.
She's a world champion kickboxer.
Yes.
47-3.
So phenomenal kickboxer. I thought Denise won that fight against Juliana Velasquez. I could see it going the other way. I'm not
It's close. It's a good fight.
It was a close fight. It was a great fight.
Yeah.
I was hoping to see on
But especially at the end of it, at the end of it, Juliana didn't have a mark on her, and Denise was lumped up.
It was that jab. It was that jab, straight left every time, and it seemed like the power. Even though Denise was a kickboxer, world-class kickboxer, she just didn't have the power to really push Juliana back.
Yeah.
There was moments where there were some great combinations.
But she fought a great fight.
But Juliana just was the power on the jab and the long range right hand or left hands for remarkable. I think if I look at the two in terms of the stand-up, Denise Gilholtz is a better kickboxer than Liz Carmouche. She's maybe not as good, but Denise is also a really good judo. Brown belt? Black belt. But she's got good throws as well. She's not as good on the ground as Liz, but Liz got to get the fight there, and that's the
if Liz can get to the top position, she can be dominant there. Yeah. The question is, can she get it there? So look, Liz can win this fight. That's why it's a good fight. It's a competitive fight. Does the champ have some advantage? She has some advantage. Does Liz Carmouche have some advantage? She does. Physically one of the strongest women fighters out there. Always in great shape. Yeah. Always can push. And so
I saw her lifting her box of groceries, earlier, passing through the top of the tower. She's walking through her shoulders, bam, biceps, triceps. I'm like, man,
man, you're an animal and I look like shit.
I tell all these fighters, man, you're gonna look like me one day. It's so horrible. Like Podcast Dave.
I'm actually really excited.
What's the next fight on?
So what's next in line? Is it Barboza or
Barzola and Mikhailov
against Mikhailov? Oh, that's a great fight. And Barzola is, you talk about just a junkyard dog, grinding, get in there and just give everything he has, come forward, throw. He's got, he doesn't have great wrestling.
No.
But it's decent.
It's okay.
It's decent.
Yeah.
It's decent. He doesn't have great stand-up.
He doesn't have good enough wrestling against Nikita, though.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have great stand-up, but man, he'll throw.
Oh, he'll throw.
He's got a good submission game. He actually really does.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah,
but the one thing he's got,
heart.
Cardio and a heart for days. Yeah. The dude doesn't stop. Yeah. I love watching the guy fight. I loved him when he was in the UFC watching him fight. He just comes in. He's got the look of a fighter. You talk about that nose being bent in 3 different directions.
Called you ugly, bro.
I did not. So he got the look of a fighter. He looks awesome. He's just a guy that comes and you are going to be in a freaking battle. And that's the question in this fight. If you're going to look at both of them, Nikita is faster. He is technically really clean. His submission game is good. His wrestling is really good. But he does not have the fight experience of Barzola, and he does not have the fight IQ right now of Barzola. And can he take what Barzola can do in pushing forward and driving through? Is this a 5-round fight or a 3-round fight?
It looks like it's. It doesn't specify that it's a 5-round. It just shows a bantamweight. It's a bantamweight.
Oh, you know what? Because it's just to get into.
Because to get in, that's why I asked.
It might be 3, yeah.
So it might be 3. If it was a 5-round fight, it'd be tough for me to go against Barzola. But he's got his hands full against a really crafty and good fighter in Mikhailov. But he's got a good chance of winning this.
Sorry.
Stop that.
My issue with Nikita is this: when he fought in Russia, he looked phenomenal. When he fought his last fight, he looked like crap.
Yeah, it's true.
I wouldn't say he looked like crap.
Not crap.
He just paced himself. He fought a safe fight. Didn't try to get the guy out of there. He just was on top, doing work, getting easy takedowns, not really trying to really chase a submission or chase getting the ground and pound, getting the finish. That bugs me. And look, if you guys don't think I'm talking,
but that's the first time he ever fought out of his country too.
Oh, okay.
Tough.
I'd only seen him fight in Russia, and I didn't call that fight. I was actually here watching it from the States. But yeah, on the Bellator card. So I mean, I thought I saw him fight somewhere else though.
Well, he fought in Europe, but so only first time out of the European area.
Okay, out of that area. Well, interesting. But look, he's good. Like you said, I think he's more technically sound than Barzola. He is. But if this was a 5-round fight, if Barzola could survive the first 2.5, 3 rounds, I would definitely start leaning towards Barzola.
Yeah, the odds would change quickly.
Yeah. If you guys are at mybookie.ag, make sure you guys take a look. In a 3-round fight, I'm taking Nikita because of the wrestling, the control, position, that top pressure he has. His stand-up's not bad either. He's a little bit more technically sound, I think, than Barzola, but Barzola will throw. He'll take a shot to give one. He'll take 2 shots probably to get one. But
he will.
But he's a stud, man. He's a stud in terms of there's no quitting him. What's the next fight?
Next fight is Jornel Lugo and Danny Sabatello.
Man, this one is a tough one.
Not for me.
No. It's Jornel Lugo is undefeated. Danny Sabatello's only got 1 loss. Danny Sabatello reminds me of John Fitch. He wrestled at Purdue also.
Just a lot faster, John.
Yeah, he's a faster John Fitch and probably a better looking John Fitch. But I mean, seriously, he's got that grind to him, and he sticks with what he does. And he's going to go for the shot. He's going to drive into you, and he's not going to stop until he gets your ass on the ground. And he's a good fighter. You got to figure when they brought him in last minute to fight Brett Johns. Brett Johns coming off of UFC, only having a couple of losses on his record, and he just dominated Brett Johns. Just dominated him.
No, I like Brett Johns.
Oh, so do I. I love him as a fighter. He's a great guy. And I was shocked at how much control he had. And that's why he reminds me of John Fitch. When he gets in the top position, he doesn't lose the position. Guys are doing all kinds of things to try to get in. He just rides on top of him. Sometimes he floats. Sometimes he crushes. He does all kinds of things. Lugo's going to have his hands, full. Lugo is the slicker fighter. He's a slicker fighter overall. He's got better stand-up overall. I don't know, submission game. He's got a good submission game. He's had some submissions, but the wrestling that Sabatello brings, I do not know if Lugo's going to be able to deal with the pressure and grind that he has.
Lugo, after his last performance, I was really high on him all the way up until his last performance. He just did things in that fight that let me know that he's not quite ready for someone like a Sabatello who's going to bring the pressure. Maybe he's not going to look the best on the feet, but he doesn't need to. He's going to throw 1 or 2 big, hard shots, and he's going to shoot his double leg, switch to a single, or shoot his single, switch to a double. And he's going to out-scramble and out-hustle Lugo in these transitions, and he will end up on top. And he will control that whole first round. And what he would expect to see is Lugo getting back to his feet and Sabatello mat return. Him getting back to his feet, Sabatello mat return. He will grind on him, get on his head, hang on him. He will do that. That John Fitch style of thing.
See? Look at you. Look at who you're comparing.
I was going to say just wrestling.
Just say it, son.
Wrestling in general.
Just say it, son.
Wrestling in general is grinding. I love to give my boy some love, Fitch. I love to give him some love. But look, man, these guys, when you have that type of wrestling like Sabatello does, and I saw him today earlier, he is shredded. You see every vein through his shoulders, every vein through his forearm.
He's got to be shredded. He's 135 pounds.
Yeah, he is tiny. He's pretty tall for the. He's tall for the weight. And so, like the reach.
I want to say he's 5'11".
He's tall. He looks like
he's
like my height. Maybe a little bit taller. Maybe a little bit shorter.
Yeah, maybe a little taller.
Stop.
I'm just being honest.
I've done a couple knee surgeries.
Lugo's 5'9".
He's 5'9".
Lugo's 5'9". What's Sabatello? He's got to be 5'11".
5'10", 5'11".
5'9" as well.
Oh, damn.
Nah, he's shorter than
I gave him 2 inches.
So he's shorter than me. Yeah. See, guys, you heard it here first. John's not always right.
Josh, you're 5'9" as well.
You shut your whore mouth. I'm 5'10", 3/4. Well, I was before surgeries.
Dude, he hasn't seen 5'10" ever.
I was 5'10" my whole career.
Just because you say it doesn't mean it's true. Okay, maybe it is.
I just can't with you, man. I've been traveling all day. I just can't with you today. Okay, guys. All right, so look, I'm leaning towards Sabatello. I just think the pressure, the wrestling, all those things. Lugo's got the chance and catching him on the way in.
Yep.
I don't even know about catching him in a submission. Sabatello just seems grimy like that, where he stays tight with the neck, doesn't let anything really get too far from him. Maybe I would say only catching him on like a knee coming in, push kick up the face, something along those lines. Maybe an uppercut. I don't know, but I'm looking at Sabatello controlling everything in this fight. Giving him his first loss.
Could be.
I'm high on Sabatello, man.
His old may go.
After the Brett Johns fight, I'm high on Sabatello,
Yeah,
and I
good.
walked away from that fight going, "Damn, that kid's good."
I told you he was good before, and you came to me. No,
John
stop.
never told me anything about him.
Oh, you lying!
I never heard anything about him.
You lying son of a bitch!
Oh, I love it. See, I love when you're here. All right, so what's the next fight?
Next fight, Christian Edwards versus Grant Neal.
Yeah, you know, Christian Edwards coming off of was his last fight against the Big Tuna?
It was against the Big Tuna.
Damn,
Can you look it up? Christian Edwards' last fight was against Big Tuna.
Ben Paddish, yeah.
Yeah, because he had a fight scheduled and then it got canceled, didn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
And so this is his first return from being knocked out. You know, that was his first loss. I know everyone looks at this and you're not undefeated anymore. Josh, a loss sometimes can do wonders for your career. I know it doesn't sound right to most people, but failure is not something that you should fear as a fighter. As long as you are giving it everything you have, you can make a mistake and someone can catch you in that mistake and it can be over. Learn from your mistakes and your failures will lead to your success.
See, that's something failures say. I don't say that shit. Even podcast Dave was laughing.
I mean it.
No, I agree.
It's true because you can't sit there and, all of a sudden because you lose now, it's over. It's not. And Christian Edwards got a lot of skill. He's got a lot of talent, man.
Yeah.
When I first watched the guy, I went, that dude can fight, and he can. He's going up against a dude that's just a pit bull and a cannonball at 205 pounds. He's doesn't have a long reach. He is anything but your tall, long, and lanky. He is short, squat, and thick.
Yeah, that's true.
That's Grant Neal, but he's a fighter, and his last fight was just a barn burner against Polizzi. And he walked away from that. I think it was a split decision loss, which was his first loss. So they're both coming off of their first loss, and we're going to see who's the one that actually has been able to handle that, deal with it, get themselves right, and come back and put on a big performance. But it's going to be very difficult for Grant Neal to get into Christian Edwards if Christian fights smart.
I agree with you. I just look at one is young, still Christian Edwards, still young, still blooming, still kind of that talent that up until the Parrish fight, I think he kind of was believing a little bit of all
He started by it.
Grant Neal has happened. Too many things have happened in his life for him to lose an opportunity. And I think he went back and he just look, it was a close fight. I lost. I should have done more. I could have done more. But I really believe that you're going to see a more intense Grant Neal. He's going to find more ways to push the pace. He's going to find more ways to get his head inside. He's going to find more ways to dominate the top position, control the top position. And I don't get me wrong. I think Christian Edwards is a stud. But if you're looking at who's going to have to come back from something that's more devastating to build your confidence, Grant Neal can build off of the fact that Polizzi's got a lot of wins against good people.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
He's only got one loss.
He's got one loss to
Inglitskas.
And so when you look at that fight, so I look at Grant Neal going, look, I've really lost to this guy who's lost to a guy who just fought for the title against Nemkov. And then whereas this guy lost to Parrish, and Parrish, Big Tuna is just dominated by someone else recently. So there's still a lot left to be desired. And I know I right there in that whole sentence, I just did MMA math, which never adds up. Okay, but I'm over here saying that I like the idea of Grant Neal because of everything he's been through in his life, for him saying, hey, you know what? This is that one little bit extra motivation I need to, and I'm sure he's absorbed and learned so much from that. Whereas Edwards is still, I think, blooming as a young fighter. So it's gonna really come down to who can implement their game plan. It's gonna really come down to who's gonna bounce back more, but I think it's gonna be Grant.
both guys are.
They're both good fighters.
Oh, both good fighters, both good people. I really
Yes,
enjoy
both.
both of them and stuff. So it's an interesting contrast of styles because 6'5" compared to Grant Neal's
5'7",
5'9", maybe. Yeah, not much. So it'll be fun.
It's like me standing next to John. I'm like, what, 6'8"? What are you, like 6'5", 11"? 5'7"? Next.
Get you
What
shorter
other
by
fight? What other fight?
All right, next fight after that, or prior to that, is Luis Muro versus Nate Andrews.
Okay, next fight.
That's Manny Muro.
Manny Muro.
Tawfiq Musayev and Zach Zane.
Okay, this is the fight right here. Tawfiq was the guy that I don't know if you know who he is. He fought over in Ryzen. He fought in the tournament.
Yes.
He beat Patricky.
Yep.
The dude
Finals.
in the stand-up, the dude is a killer. Zach Zane, you talk about just a crazy Hawaiian that I love.
Yeah.
The dude is good on the ground. He's very good on the ground. He needs to get this fight to the ground, but he will stand up and trade with Tawfiq the entire fight because that's who he is. But it's not in his best interest to do that because he's playing into that guy's strengths. And Tawfiq, this will be his first fight in Bellator coming over from Ryzen. The dude is a stud. Lightweight, he is a handful for anyone.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Why is he on the prelims?
I do. Have you ever seen me in charge of anything?
No. I've actually asked Miss McCarthy, and she said no. He absolutely has never been in charge.
No, Miss McCarthy. Miss McCarthy was really nice to me yesterday as I was on the phone. She says, "My dumbass husband." I said, "Excuse me."
Oh, it's a love relationship. I love it. No, it's no. I really I was just baffled. I'm like, look, I got a lot of love for Grant Neal, got a lot of love for Christian Edwards, but when you've got Tawfiq who's coming over here and he's gonna be fighting potentially, now there's a little bit of buzz around that 55-pound division with Usman,
with
Shibli, Alexander Shibli, and now Tawfiq, and then Patricky, and then talk of AJ going up now, McKee going up to 55. I mean, I'm starting to get a little buzz right now with this group that's getting put together. It makes for fun.
Because you have not been happy with the lightweights.
I have not.
I know you have.
I know, John.
You complain all the time.
Fucking drives me nuts, man. And I know we've got Brent Permanis, we've got other guys that are in there. You got Peter Quealy, you got other fighters that are in there, but like the new young blood that's coming in, I'm starting to like lick my chops going, man, this is what we're looking for. This is what I want to see, that 55-pound tournament. There's like the last on the list to get the tournament. That's driving me nuts. And we're the best damn division. We're not the best division right now, but obviously not. Bantamweight's gonna lead the way though. But overall, I was a little upset when I saw that him and Zach Zane were on the prelims.
Yeah, that's a great fight. Let's go to the 279.
Let's go next card.
All right, Bellator 279, Cyborg versus Blanco.
All right, let's just be honest. How do you see this? I don't see a difference. I'm sorry, no matter what. I love Arlene Blanco. I think she's a really good fighter. I think she's got good stand-up. I think she cannot stop Chris Cyborg from taking her to the ground.
Do you think she takes her down again?
I do think she takes her to the ground. When she was very successful out here, and this is the difference. This is what I said I liked about Cyborg when she came to Bellator is she stopped being the berserker. She stopped being the person that would just all of a sudden bite down and start throwing all these haymakers. Did
you know Sierra Sinead Kavanaugh fight?
Yeah, I know. And that's hold on. I was going to say. You have to go there right away. Look, you just had to jump to it.
Sorry, I thought we were talking facts.
Because she went, like her fight against Julia Budd, she fought beautifully. Her fight against Blanco fought beautifully. Her fight against Leslie Smith fought beautifully.
Yeah.
And then she got into, I'm going to bite down on my mouthpiece and throw with Sinead. And it worked for her, which is, good for her, but it's not the smart way to fight. But one of the smartest fights she's ever had was against Arlene Blanco.
Yeah.
And if you had that game plan and you saw how well it played out, how well it executed, why are you going to go away from it?
Let me ask you this. What happens if Arlene takes her down?
That ain't going to happen. Just ain't going to happen.
Ah.
I just don't see it. I've seen Arlene take people down. She can't take someone down that has the one thing I like about Chris is she keeps on getting better in things, and she's look at her wrestling coaches and she's practicing it all the time now. She's trying to get better in areas where people could possibly take advantage. And I don't see Arlene being the person. You would have to be Sarah McMahon to be that person that's going to be taking Chris down right now.
Yeah, I don't even want Sarah gets hit. She's not even the same person.
No.
I mean, I don't see much of a difference. I see maybe a little bit longer of a fight because, like you said, Cyborg is not berserking as much. She's picking and choosing her opportunities to do that. She's going to go back to doing what she normally does. She's going to press her to the fence, elbow, flurry, knees, big strikes, come back into the clinch, wear you down, potentially get the takedown, get on top, and just try to work from the finish for there, whether it's submission or ground and pound. But I think you could see it going a little bit longer. Last fight ended in the early third round.
Was it early third? I was thinking it was the second.
I think it was the third. I think it might have been
right now. Wayne Carl was the second. Rear naked choke.
Rear naked choke on the second.
That was her first submission win of her career. So
that's also interesting to me.
Yeah.
You've had this many fights. You only had one submission. That was it.
That's not who she is.
Yeah. Next fight.
Juan Archuleta and Rafion starts.
Oh yeah.
I saw Superstars today.
So did I.
Just
as I walked in
the photo ops, he was getting his photos done, and you can see veins through his taco meat. Through his taco meat, you can see the veins. He's a stud, man. I mean, realistically, I love Juan. He's a great person. I love his team that he trains with Cub, TJ, all of them. I think they're all fantastic people. I think the speed's going to be a factor. The wrestling, I'm going to give the wrestling also to Rafion Stotts. The striking, I'm going to give to Rafion Stotts.
Wow,
the submissions,
you just go all in.
The submissions, I'm going to give to Juan. But I even then, I think it's maybe even just a 50-50 split. What's going to happen though is I have not seen Stotts go 4 or 5.
No,
I'm going to see is I know Juan will be there in 4 and 5.
Oh, no doubt about it.
He will have his body and his cardio, his mentality, all of those things. They didn't get started until like round 2.5 or 3. He doesn't really start getting into the fight until like rounds 2, 3, and 4.
That's true.
To the end of 2, I would say 3, 4, and 5. So even if he lost the first 2 rounds, like he did against Patchy Mix, he just ran away with the fight after that.
Yep.
And look for him to try to put that type of pressure. But I think if Stotts does a little bit what Patricio did to him, Patricio stood in the middle and said, "Come to me," and just let him do all the dancing, and then just threw 1, 2, boom, boom, or right hand, left hook, boom, or left hook, right hand. And I think if Stotts does that, he sprawls, brawls, and then comes back up with striking, could end up being a problem for him.
Look, Stotts can be a problem for anyone. He's that athletic. He's that fast. He's that good. He's got great wrestling. So he's a problem for anyone. But Juan Archuleta is a stud. And this is the whole thing with Juan. Juan doesn't have to rely on the wrestling because he does have that pressure inside. And he's got to come in and he's got to throw his hands and he's got to commit. That's the big thing on it. Commit on your shots. And if you get into into where you get into a clinch with him, don't worry about taking him down because don't waste that energy. Worry about landing the shot on the exit. Worry about making him pay for allowing you to get inside on him on the exit. Don't even worry about the takedown. Worry about the exit. The exit, don't get hit, and you land the shot. That's the big difference, and that's what he needs to do in this fight.
I got you. That was the longest sirens ever, by the way. Did you hear those? I was like, man, they felt like they were going away, and they were coming back.
They're doing circles.
Yeah, they're doing circles. I agree. That Juan needs to use his footwork, land his strikes, get back out, mix up the wrestling like he does. He's gonna fight the same way that TJ Dillashaw fights, and he's gonna keep mixing up, wrestling and striking, throwing the head kick, doing all those things. I just think the speed and the wrestling ability of Stotts gonna be too much. He's gonna be able to stuff takedowns because I think he's a better wrestler. I think he's faster. And then on the striking, he's gonna see things coming. It's gonna be a little bit too slow. I like both of them as fighters. I wish this wasn't happening in the first round because I kind of think they would have both ended up in the semis or the finals together. So
Could be, but there's another guy that's in the fight that we're going to talk about next.
Let's go.
Might have a little bit of
Who's this?
say in that.
Who's this man?
Who is this man?
Who's this man you speak of?
His name is Kyoji Horiguchi.
Wait a second. So you're overlooking Patchy Mix already?
I'm not overlooking Patchy Mix. That was the one guy.
You hear Big John? What he said? Kyoji. Big John's giving me some love. Patchy, you hear what he's saying? It's a really tough fight for Patchy Mix.
It is a tough fight for Patchy
because of the speed.
He can definitely win this fight, but he's gonna have to be very relaxed in it and very calm and not get frustrated. And that's not an easy thing to do when you've got a guy like Horiguchi that takes all this movement and these strange angles, and you just can't get that pattern down and can't land shots on him. The frustration starts to build, and then you're making mistakes, and he's taking advantage of them. But look, Patchy Mix, I love Patchy. I think he's, especially when the fight hits the ground, the kid is phenomenal. And his stand-up is getting better, but he was exposed when he fought Archuleta in the fact that he can be drawn into your style of fight. And that's what he did against Archuleta. After he couldn't get the submission in the first 2 rounds, Archuleta started making him, get to the point where it was like, okay, you think you can, knock me out to the sea? And he was trying to, and he stopped doing what made him effective in the first 2 rounds. You can't do that with Horiguchi. He can knock Horiguchi out. It's a possibility because Horiguchi has proved that, his chin is susceptible not only, to what happened with Sergio Pettis in a fight that he won every second of, but it happened to him in Ryzen with Asakara.
Yeah.
So it can happen.
No, I agree. I was actually really hoping they would have put Patchy Mix against Magomedov.
Yeah.
I was hoping for that fight because then we would have seen something completely different. We may not see that fight now, at least for a while. Mm-hmm. That's the fight that I was really hoping to see. Overall, though, it's a tough fight for him. I think the speed, getting it, the power that Horiguchi possesses on the feet. That's
people don't believe he has it. All of a sudden, they feel it.
Exactly. So, I'm gonna kind of side a little bit with you on this as well. I'm gonna probably lean towards Horiguchi on this fight, but I think in terms of what Horiguchi needs to avoid, because he is shorter in stature.
Oh, wow.
And Mix is tall. He's got to avoid his head getting too low, because if Mix gets on that neck,
knees coming up.
It can be knees coming up, or just guillotines, arses, anacondas, all those things, and then shucking him by, trying to get to the back, getting the hooks, putting the body triangle on. Mix, when he gets to your back, almost every single time he gets the finish. So that's a tough go. I want to say that. Next, what was the other fight on there, Dave?
Well, I think you skipped over Elimale versus Justin Kish.
Oh, Elimale versus Justin Kish.
Is that the co-main?
That's before the co-main.
Gotcha.
Co-main is one after later.
It's good to see Elimale back. There was a real question. Elimale has not fought since losing that title, and there was a lot of reasons. A whole lot of things going on and stuff in her life. And then she had the knee injury, and she had to get that fixed. And she had broken her nose in that fight and everything. And it was good that she had that time. I think it was really good for her. I'm looking forward to seeing the Elimale that comes back, because I've seen that Elimale has been working on her stand-up a lot more. Yeah. And that'll be interesting to see, because if there's one thing Justine Kish is good at, it is the stand-up. She's good at being that stand-up fighter and keeping the fight on her feet. I don't think Justine's going to do well if the fight hits the ground with Elimale.
I don't think she survives once the fight hits the ground with Elimale. The pressure Elimale puts on, those type of things, I think that even on the feet, Elimale maybe doesn't look the greatest on the feet, even before this whole hiatus of her being gone, having her knee surgery, getting fixed, now getting back into training and focusing a lot more on her stand-up as well as her jiu-jitsu to keep it all refined. I think that on the feet, when you watch her fight Velasquez, she still was able to land some clean shots, especially when she gets on top. Like when she fought Vida Ortega, she got on top. It was a close fight up until the time she got on top. Vicious elbow, split her open, and the rest of the fight was history. When she gets on top of you and starts putting pressure, she's okay with going to her back as well to finish the triangles and hit those positions. She's a dog when she's in the grappling position. She's a scrambler. She's a finisher. She gets to the top and she puts the work in. So I'm definitely going to lean towards Elimale. It does scare me. She's been away for a while. plus her knee surgery. Does she feel confident with the knee? Is it feeling like it's 100%? We had her on the show last week in San Jose at the desk, and she believes that she feels even better than ever, and in some terms. But it's the rust. I want to see how she is the rust. She even said that her weight's been down, like it's been kind of a lot easier.
Which is always been a problem for her, but in the past,
just her, almost all the Hawaiians we know. Okay, so let's just make sure we're not isolating. We're not isolating.
Oh my God, I can't believe you say that.
We're talking about all the Hawaiians. Hey, BJ Penn being one of them had some weight issues for a while. Let's not forget that he fought Machida.
Okay, then let's talk about another Hawaiian that's going to be on this card making his debut. A guy named the Kid, Yancy Medeiros, who I've always loved. Great guy. Awesome dude. This is a guy that fought in Strikeforce at 185 pounds.
Yeah.
Fought in the UFC, welterweight and lightweight, and now he is fighting at lightweight against Emmanuel Sanchez.
Which is crazy because the man's going up from 45 to 55, which I thought he should actually went down because he's not a big guy. The fact that I was standing next to Yancy today when I was checking in the hotel.
And you went, oh, he's big.
I was like, oh, you're big. But I knew he was big already. I've been around him quite a bit. But he was bigger then. But he looks lean and still his body frame is so big. I just want to know how he's going to be able to perform because he looks really slender right now, John. Like he looks fit. He looks slender. He's a dog. We all know that. And he's got one of the best battles I think ever we've seen, in one of the fights. What was the fight in the UFC? Against Cowboy.
Yeah.
It was against, not Charles.
No, yeah. Alex.
No, Alex Oliveira. Yeah. I said Charles. You said, yeah.
Oh, you're right. No, it's Alex. It's Cowboy. You're right.
I said Cowboy.
You did say Cowboy. Well, first when you first say Cowboy, I think of Cerrone.
Same thing.
I don't think Yancy fought Cerrone.
Same thing. But he looked good. He's big body frame. Him and Sanchez not a big guy. But Sanchez is known for what? Cardio. He's known for what?
Pushes.
The base. But one thing Sanchez doesn't normally have a lot of is pop.
Yeah.
Yancy, he's got some power in his hands. I don't know if he's going to still translate to 55.
One thing Yancy can do, Yancy can take a shot.
Yeah, he can take a shot.
He's got a set of whiskers on him, man. He just keeps on coming. So but it's going to be interesting to watch.
That'd be a fun fight.
That's a good fight. It's good to see Yancy.
Is there any good fights on this? Other fights on this card?
Yeah.
You got Yamauchi and Chuck Kelly.
Yamauchi and who?
Chuck Kelly.
Levon
Chuck Kelly.
Levon
Chokely.
Then what's the next one?
And then
That's at 70, by the way.
What is it?
There's also Lance Gibson Jr. and Nainoa Dung, and then Justin.
Oh, that's a good one.
That should be a good fight.
Lance Gibson Jr. is an athlete, good all around, but Nainoa Dung here in Hawaii, dude, he's a young star here. Kickboxing wise, the kid is awesome. He had some hard fights. He won his opener in Bellator, but then he had a couple of fights. He had the one. What was that kid? Charlie Campbell ended up leg kicking him to the point where he couldn't stand. They stopped the fight. But I expect Nainoa to come back very strong in this fight, and I expect this to be a super tough fight. Yeah. I think Nainoa is going to do very well in this fight.
Good stuff. All right, well, that wraps up our Bellator talk for the full weekend. And then let's move on to the UFC. There's a lot of fights this weekend, guys.
Oh, my God. Too many.
All right, let's get into it.
All right, we have UFC Vegas 52 this weekend, and it's Amanda Lemos versus Jessica
Lemos
Andrade.
versus Andrade.
Well, this episode is brought to you by MyBookie.ag. And John and I have been using them for quite a while now because they've actually been working with us for the longest time here at Weighing In.
They've been awesome.
And they've been amazing to work with. And so we want you guys to help us. And we want to help you guys make some money. If you guys go to mybookie.ag, use our promo code Weighing In. There's also a QR code that Podcast Dave is going to bring up for you. It's right over here on this side. I believe it's this side, right, Podcast Dave? It's this side. Okay, they're going to give you a little extra spending cash on your first initial buy-in. Your very first initial buy-in, they'll give you some extra spending cash. We use our promo code Weighing In at mybookie.ag. Hopefully we can make you guys some money. We're going to break down some fights for you that are coming up this weekend. We got Bellator has 2 cards. UFC has a card. We'll talk a little bit about the PFL in terms of their main event and some other fights that we think are going to make interesting fights. And look, we're hoping to help. Our little bit of hints here and there should hopefully get you guys to win some money at mybookie.ag. Use that promo code Weighing In. I'm sorry, I can't go against Andrade.
I'm being honest. Look, I like Lemos, and I can't go against Andrade in this one either. I think right now she's fighting well.
She's gone up in weight, John. She doesn't have to worry about cutting.
No,
she's not sucking herself.
She's
down.
not killing herself.
The fact that she possessed power at the lighter weight, and now she's come up. The power's still there.
Yep.
And the energy's there.
Yeah.
And so, and the chin is there. Like she's able to take shots. She's able to deliver shots. She's able to keep grinding. And yeah,
I think 125 is a great weight for her.
Yep. I mean,
flyweights is it.
She can have a hard time with people like Shevchenko because of the reach and the abilities, but everyone's gonna have a hard time.
They're all gonna have a hard time with Shevchenko.
But I mean, you get into some of these other top females, in that weight class. A lot of them are taller and longer, and she have a hard time with them. So she have a hard time, but she's a bully though. We've seen it. We saw it against Rose Namajunas. She's a bully. Big slams, big punches, tries to bully fighters around. So, but I mean, I'm on the Jessica Andrade train though. So I mean, I'm just being honest. Choo. Let's go. Next fight.
Clay. Right?
Guida, versus Claudio Puelles.
Yeah, Claudio's good. This is a tough fight for Clay. Clay's going to have to, he's going to have to be Clay Guida, and he's going to have to absorb some punishment to try to get that cardio to be part of the equation as far as getting him the win. He can get the win, but Claudio is good. He's good everywhere. He's got good stand-up. His wrestling is not as good as Clay. Clay can get him to the ground, but he's going to have to work at it. And then he's got to be careful with the submission game, even though Clay, in MMA, not many people submit him. So he's a stud.
Yeah, the pace that Clay's got to set for this fight, he's going to take some lumps to come in and get it. But I think also, too, 1 or 2 takedowns early are going to lead to how this fight changes for the rest of the fight. If he struggles in that first round, he only gets 1 takedown and can't hold him down, it's going to be harder in the second. It's going to be harder in the third. It's just going to be, but Clay's going to keep grinding. Clay's going to keep pushing, keep chain wrestling. Clay's going to keep doing what Clay does. I mean, I'm looking at, I'm a fan of Clay. Now that him and I have talked about the greasing issue, we're fans now of each other. I'm fans anyways. But good stuff, man. I mean, I think as long as he stays the level of intensity and doesn't stand for too long. Couple big shots, takedown. Doesn't get it, comes back up, boom, boom, barrage punches, back on the legs. Never let him set to throw power. I think if he does that in the first 2 rounds, I think the fight will start trickling towards his way. If he doesn't do that, I'm going with the other guy.
Next fight, heavyweight fight, right?
All right, next fight. Yeah, Alexander Romanov versus Chase Sherman. Chase Sherman, who
was just cut and then brought back.
For more money.
Way to go. Chase Sherman, the vanilla gorilla. I love the fact that you got cut and they needed you back and you got extra money. Good for you. That is awesome.
But
the fact that you're taking off this monster and Alexander Romanov, he's a stud, dude. He's undefeated. He is big. He is strong. He hits like a truck. Not a good fight for Chase.
I'm going with Sherman. No, it's just
we're gonna put some money on this.
Look,
one.
they bring you back. They bring you back to lose. That's why they pay you a little extra because they know they're probably not going to use you ever again, unless you get a weird upset or something. So they're like, "Hey, want to grease the palm a little?" Okay,
good for him.
Let you know, hey, here's some money for you. See you on the road. Next,
that's gonna be a tough fight for him, though.
Macy Barber versus Montana De La Rosa.
That's a good fight. I like that fight.
But can Macy get a win?
What do you mean she got a win in her last fight?
Did she?
She got a win in her last.
Supposed to win that fight,
Dave. I want you to look at. I want you to look at this, Dave.
Should she have won?
Did she get a win?
John, that wasn't the question. John,
Dave, did she get a win? Yes,
she won. Yeah.
What? Was it a split decision?
That's what I just wanted to hear.
It was a split.
Yes, it was.
Should she have won?
I didn't. It was close. It was a tough one.
No, I had Macy losing.
Yeah, I think so. I think I did too.
Yeah,
but I like Macy. I like the fact that Macy she's a gamer. She talks, but I think Montana she's got a really good ground game. So Macy's going to want to kind of keep it on the feet. We've seen that when the fight does go to the ground, that's when Macy starts to have a little bit of trouble. So can she keep this fight on her feet and keep using her hands to do damage to De La Rosa? If Montana can get the fight to the ground, she's got a very good chance of winning this fight.
I agree. But I think also on the feet, though, like Macy on the feet is not a barn burner.
Say barn burner, but
She had a little bit of the advantage, but not by much.
Not by
and
much.
she doesn't. She also has a longer fighter.
No, that's it.
So-
I'd say that Montana is.
Yeah, so I say Montana, I think, has the advantages throughout this fight. She's just got to keep pressure on her and make Macy feel uncomfortable. I think mentally, Macy is not fully there in terms of her confidence. Like, she's still not fully back from the 2 losses she had in a row, and then she got this win, but it wasn't a suspect win. I mean, I don't think she's fully regrouped yet. So if she gets in her grill right off the bat, she's able to crack her right off the bat, crack Macy Barber right off the bat, and start pushing her around the cage, you can start to see her not fight to her potential. So I'm going to go with Montana.
We will see.
You're going to go with Barber.
I like Montana. I really do.
Liking people and just thinking whether they're going to win or not.
I think it's a close fight.
It is.
I think they're both talented. I think they do things a little bit different. I think, honestly, on the feet, I give the advantage to Macy. On the ground, I give the advantage to Montana. So whoever gets the fight into their realm, I think is going to walk away with the win. So
John always the PC answer.
PC answers. It's the truth. All right, give me my next.
Candy ass.
All right, we got
Maybe a candy ass.
Sue Mudaerji versus Manel Cape.
Yeah, that's Sue he's good. Manel is now, I think, getting comfortable fighting in the UFC.
We talked about earlier, fighters coming in, first couple of fights, doesn't feel quite like home. He had success over in Ryzen, now coming here. It's that feeling and that vibe of like, okay, am I ready for it? Am I not ready for it? Is this where I'm going to be for the next 6, 7 years, 10 years, whatever it is? I think he's starting to find his stride.
Yeah, right now, look, he's fast, he's explosive. He cannot allow Sue to take him and be in the top position on him. He will hold him down and beat on him, and he's not going to get away from him. So really, it's a matter of how well does Cape use his footwork and the in out, and how many he lands his combinations. Because when he gets on a roll, he's comfortable, he's good. He's got to be threatened with the takedown, and he has to be in a position where he's worrying about it for you to have the ability to get into him. So there is a fight on there that I love, though, and I don't know what position it is on their bout sheet there, but there is a fight with Charles Jourdain against
Lando Venata.
Venata.
Best fight on the card.
That's the best goddamn fight on the card. I love that fight. That fight is going to be a blast. Look at the real question is is it at 145?
Yeah, featherweight.
Ooh, Lando's went back down. That's kind of telling to a point. Look at both those guys are technically really good. I love Lando Venata. He just is smooth, effortless in what he does. The guy fights. He counter strikes so well. He's just relaxed in there. And let's just be honest. Jourdain is the same damn thing. The dude, he can fight everywhere. He is good. This is a great matchup. I can't believe that this one is not on the main card. I love this fight. God bless either Mick Maynard or Sean Shelby, whoever put this one together. This is a great fight.
Is this the main event of the prelims?
It might be.
They're trying to probably get more people.
I don't think so.
No, it's not.
Oh, actually, it might be. It depends. They've been doing like 6 fights.
Yeah, they have been a couple
on
times.
The Vegas cards, yeah. So it could be the opener to the main card, or it could be the prelim.
That would make sense. Honestly, if it was the opener, it makes sense. I mean, it would also make sense if it was the main event prelim, only based on the fact that we need you to go from ESPN2 to the ESPN Plus app.
Yep. To watch.
It would make sense.
This is a great fight.
Yeah,
great fight.
Yeah, overall, Lando Venata he's going to do all the spinning stuff. He's going to do all the cool, fancy stuff. He's so relaxed out there. He's got, I think, a little bit more experience in terms of being in the cage, and using his striking along with all the other things it takes, defending the takedowns, whatever it is. But this fight's going to be on the feet pretty much the whole time. I see maybe one of them, trying to shoot a double leg or a single just for fun, in terms of a mix-up, like getting in the clinch, maybe grabbing the legs, but not really working on it too hard or forcing it. But overall, it's going to be a fun fight. I'm potentially seeing this being fun of the night.
It's a good.
Yep. So 2 other fights you might be interested in: Jordan Wright and Marc-Andre Barriault, and then Dwight Grant versus Sergey Kandoska.
So Jordan Wright is fighting Marc-Andre.
Yep.
Barrio. Barrio lost his last fight. I can't remember who to.
It was Chidi
Njokuani. Yeah. And so
recently.
Yeah. It's real recent, which is kind of surprising that he's back that fast because he got knocked out, which is a little bit because Jordan Wright is a good fighter, but Marc-Andre, the dude he's a grinder. He's a tough dude, and my whole thing is Jordan Wright's got to get on him right away. Same as Chidi kind of did. Chidi got on him right away because once he starts rolling and he starts getting in his groove, the dude's he's a bear. He's just going to keep on coming forward and throwing shots. He'll take shots. That's a tough fight for Jordan Wright. It really is.
Then my boy Dwight Grant fighting the Russian. No idea why. Stop taking these fights.
Because they offered it to him.
Don't take these fights. Dwight's got power. He tends to slow down as the fight goes on because he throws everything like as if it was his last punch he's going to throw. But, look, who did he fight? He fought Fluffy Hernandez.
Did he fight Fluffy?
He fought.
No, Fluffy just fought.
No, he fought. No, it was a while back. 2 fights ago. Who did he fight?
Dwight Grant. He fought where he won or he lost because he's got a loss. So last fight and loss was Francisco Trinaldo. Before that was
the one before that.
Stefan Sekulic, which was a win, and then Daniel Rodriguez, which was a loss.
Daniel Rodriguez is what he's talking about.
Yeah, that fight.
Dude, you just called Daniel Rodriguez Fluffy.
Whatever, man. That fight was going out. He had knocked Rodriguez down, and he was about to finish him. Rodriguez was out on his feet. And then Dwight gassed himself out, got finished.
Yep.
I was like,
but there's no shame in losing. Daniel Rodriguez is a tough dude.
Yeah, I saw in that fight.
Tough dude.
John, I saw in that fight.
Tough dude, man.
But, look, Dwight Grant's he doesn't have the best takedown defense. He's just okay at getting back up. He's got some submissions, but not too many. But he's got power in his hands, and his punches come from really weird angles. He's got speed, when he throws them. So, he's got a puncher's chance every time I say it. I look at it that way. But hopefully he gets a win. All right, Wayne, that's going to wrap up our UFC, Bellator, and PFL talk. We've got a lot of fights this weekend, so make sure you guys tune in. PFL is on Wednesday night, Bellator is on Friday night and Saturday night, and the UFC is on Saturday as well. So tune in, watch. UFC might be a little bit earlier, Dave. I think earlier in the day.
UFC, I don't have a start time on. Let me check if there's a start time on here.
Because UFC, sometimes what they'll do is they'll start their Apex fights. They'll have them at, say, like 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock. They start a little bit earlier.
Well, the main card starts at 8 Central, which is pretty common for. It does fluctuate, but that's actually on the later side of their start times.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's true.
UFC, yeah.
Good. All right, well, you got any news for us? Anything you want to talk about before we cut off?
Yeah, so there's 2 stories, and they're because of all the chaos going on right now with these big name fighters. The first one is the Jake Paul thing, and he's calling out Bisping. I don't know if you guys saw Bisping's response to him, but now Daniel Cormier's coming out and saying that's not the fight you want. Is Bisping the fight you want? Is Anderson Silva? And so I just wanted to get your guys' take on, Jake Paul still calling out MMA guys. Who is the MMA guy to call out? Bisping says, "Hey, I'm actually your weight, so you don't want me." And then DC saying, "I actually think you want the Silva fight."
First off, Mike can't get the fight, so I'm just being honest. He can't get the fight because he can't get. Commissions are not going to approve him now that they know he's had 2. I want you to think about this. Michael Bisping, since he's retired, has shown everyone that he still only got one eye that he can see out of. He can only see, shapes out of his other one. He's got 2 knee replacement surgeries. He's got 2 fake knees. Okay. This is not someone they're going to license to fight against Jake Paul. The fact that Jake Paul is calling, I'm going to be honest, I really like a lot of what Jake Paul has done recently. I like a lot of the stuff he's done. I like the fact that he's given money to guys' charities and things like that. I think he's done a lot of good things. I got nothing bad to say about him until you call out a guy like Michael Bisping. You can't call out a guy with one eye. Okay? It doesn't look good, and 2 goddamn metal knees. Okay? It just doesn't look good. It's bad. Michael is a commentator who works for the UFC, and he's retired. Let him stay retired. But I do agree with Daniel Cormier, for once.
Yes, for once.
And the fact that Anderson Silva is your man. I said it before. I'm going to say it again. He is your size. He is someone that is actively fighting. He is actively boxing. He is an MMA legend. So if you want to try to beat another MMA legend, this guy actually is. So this would be the guy that is the first true legend in MMA. If you beat him, you're doing something even though he's 47 years old. Take on Anderson Silva. That will prove something to me.
Why not Vitor Belfort? I'm okay with that too.
I'm okay with that too, but I look at it. It's like if you're gonna say, all right, I'm gonna just your semblance of who's the greater legend, Anderson Silva or Vitor Belfort?
Yeah, Anderson.
Okay, so that's why I say Anderson.
Yeah. I don't understand why he's calling out Michael Bisping.
No, it's wrong.
Doesn't make any sense to me.
It's stupid.
And I like how Michael responded to, if you want to fight a guy who's got 1 eye, 2 knee replacements, he's like, yeah, all right, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I'll do it.
If you're okay with it.
And you know what? Hold on. I think Michael would do it.
I think he would.
I think Mike would do it. So it's not that, Mike wouldn't do it. I don't think there's a commission out there that's going to license Mike now knowing, things that Mike talks about now and is open about. And, it's just the way it is. But I think the Anderson Silva.
Jake Paul,
the right
lost to Bisping, though, the guy with 1 eye.
Oh, that's bad.
We'd never hear from you again.
No, that wouldn't be good.
Careful.
But I'm going to tell you, Jake, I think that you've been doing freaking phenomenal. I love the fact, like I said, giving to some of the charities and stuff. Thank you for doing that. That's awesome. Hey, he's been doing some good stuff. And he's kind of pushing the envelope on some of the things that are going on. It makes a difference for some guys. That's good.
Next.
All right. We'll wrap up on this one. So, the whole Conor McGregor thing right now is another one where, who's he going to fight upon a return? He wants to do the triple champ thing, go up and fight Usman. So Chael just came out making this crazy claim that apparently Leon's, and this is all Chael, Leon's been offered his show and win to step aside for Conor at 170. And then you got Brendan Schaub on the other side saying Volkanovski and Conor at 55 is the fight to make because Conor beat all the 45 legends and top guys, and so Volk is the guy that should come up and fight him at 55. So
let's hear your take on this one.
Okay, Conor's not going to make 55.
No,
that's one.
I agree with that. Not right now.
I don't think he's making 55. He's walking around 190 something, 192, between 189 and 192. I don't think he can make 55 anymore. Not without cutting one leg off or
killing himself, and he already has a problem with cardio.
He already has a problem with cardio. So, and Volk is the guy to exploit that at all.
Hold on.
So that fight, I don't think is going to happen. And in terms of what was the other one? And Leon being pushed aside so Conor can fight.
Leon Edwards taking his show and win money. Ain't gonna do it.
The title.
He ain't gonna do it.
Is he guaranteed a title shot after that fight?
No.
Because if he is,
then he would do it.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like if he's not guaranteed the title shot after that, if I get my win or my show and my win money,
no, you're losing money.
Yeah, a lot of money potentially.
Yeah. This is where we talk about you got to bet on yourself.
Yeah.
So if they gave you where they said, look, you'll be the next, we want you to step aside, we'll give you show and win money, and you are automatically going to be the next challenger to whoever wins that fight. not a bad thing.
See, I would almost
not a bad thing.
I would understand if they came to Leon and said, "Hey, Kazmat just got a win over Chimaev, just got a win over Burns. You want to slide him in to kind of shake this up a little bit? We're going to pay you. You're winning your show. You get the winner." I could kind of see that. I can't see it for the Conor situation. And I understand it's Conor. Look, I understand all the hype around Conor. I understand he brings the most eyeballs, all of those things. But you're really putting a damper on the sport. You're really giving it a black eye when you slide somebody in who's coming off of this many losses. And the way he lost and the way he walked out, your wife's in my DMs. And it's not a good look. It's just not a good look. And so, like, you're sliding this guy in. I don't think it's something that they should be doing. If that fight was offered, I don't think it's something they should be doing. If I was Leon, I'd probably say no if it was the Conor situation. Get Conor a win, and I think that you can slide him in anytime you want after you get him one win. But Leon should just take the fight. I think Leon's the man. He's the one that's got the longest winning streak right now
in that division. Besides Kamaru,
yeah. I mean, Leon deserves it. He deserves that title shot. He's been waiting patiently, and sometimes getting a little upset about it, which he deserves to get upset about it. But overall, I think he's the man. He's the man right now to fight Leon. Or not Leon, to fight Usman. So, yeah. Yeah, that kind of wraps that up for me. I think.
Okay.
I think Leon for Usman, and then you've got, and then what? Colby and Chimaev.
Colby and Chimaev.
And then Bilal and Burns.
Well, they're already. Who knows?
Yeah, Bilal wants Colby, but everyone wants Colby because Colby's the number one guy outside of Usman. So everyone wants him. So like Chimaev wants Colby. What's it called? Bilal wants Colby. Like all these people want Colby, but what's the fight? What's the fight that Dana makes with that? That's the problem. Like, what is the fight? I think Chimaev goes to Colby Covington. I think that's where Dana wants. Remember, he said ABC, the fight. Ideally, if that works out, I'm going to have this.
I think that's the fight they want to do. I think Colby's going to get Chimaev.
So then Burns and Bilal.
You could say Burns and Bilal. That could definitely be. That's going to be a tough fight for Bilal.
Well, last fight was tough for him.
Yeah, the big difference between a guy that wants to be on the ground and a guy that doesn't. Now, I thought Bilal fought a very smart fight, did great, but he's going to have some difficulty with Burns on the ground.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, we want to wrap this up. We want to thank you guys for watching Weighing In. Go to weighinginpodcast.com, pick up one of our shirts and apparel and our merch there. We want to thank you guys so much.
We hope you enjoyed the beautiful background, everything that we've done for you here in Hawaii to create this incredible show. And we're doing the best we can on the road. That's all we can do.
We will.
See ya.